Would you go City all day? Danny Murphy saying you go City all day. I don't think you do go City all day. I think there's a conversation to be had here.
Let's have
Transfer insiders, Adi Oladipo, Rory Jennings. All right.
Let's have it.
Where does he go? Where do you know? All right. Where does he go is a different question as to where do you think he should go. Where do you think Declan Rice should go?
I don't think that you can choose anyone over Manchester City at the moment. This isn't about sort of rational... No, it's not about rational argument. If we're being really rational, Arsenal is a better option. If we're being really rational and you're just looking at football through the prism of history and heritage and what Arsenal represent. Arsenal are an institution.
Not everyone wants to go to a winning machine. I think we've seen it with Harry Kane. Not everyone wants to go somewhere where it's like, okay, this is a guaranteed trophy. Some people want to go somewhere where there's a project and they can be integral in winning something, not just a bit part player. Declan Rice going to Man City right now, I know me and you disagree on how much of an impact he'll have and where he plays. I think he's a bit part player for them right now.
Addy, if you don't want to sign for Manchester City, if you don't want to go and play with Kevin De Bruyne, if you don't want to go and work with Pep Guardiola, if you don't want to join the treble winners, I'm afraid that you shouldn't really be playing the game.
Everyone should go there then.
Everybody should have a desire to fulfil their potential and to be the very best that they can be. Therefore, yes, if Manchester City decide that you can improve their team, if you have the opportunity in your very short career as a professional footballer to play alongside Kevin De Bruyne, to feed Erling Haaland, to learn from the brilliance at the back of Ruben Diaz and John Stones, of course you should take that opportunity. If you don't, I question your professionalism and I question your aspirations. You have to want that. This isn't about rational argument. Arsenal are a bigger club. Arsenal have a richer history. Arsenal have a bigger fan base. Arsenal is the correct choice if you are looking at it through what Arsenal represent as a British footballing institution.
Not just that, but what Arsenal
be
can
a winner.
Be. Arsenal can
Arsenal
be.
Can't be anything that City... Arsenal can't be anything that City can't be 10 times more.
No, well, we saw Arsenal push City to the brink last season.
Did we? I saw Manchester City win the league. I saw Manchester City win the league with games to spare and then win a treble.
5 games to go. And that's why you added Declan Rice and they bridged the gap. Declan Rice could be that guy that bridges the gap. I'm talking here, I'm just making an argument here. I don't think Arsenal will win. I think Man City will win the league, regardless if Declan Rice goes or not. But I think he could be very important and key to Arsenal winning silverware. And sometimes I think going to a club, I just hate the idea of someone very good going to something that's already very good. Like City don't need Declan Rice. He goes there. I don't think he makes a difference. If I'm honest,
you don't like it in terms of what it means for like sporting jeopardy.
Yes,
you think that you're already perfect. There is a perfect. You're the treble winners. You are therefore perfection. Footballing perfection doesn't exist. It now does exist because you've won the treble, and now you are adding the perfect footballer to the perfect team.
Yeah, I just like the idea of Declan Rice challenging himself and going to Arsenal to actually go and fight the behemoths that are Man City.
But that's an easier choice. If you genuinely want to talk about challenging yourself, pushing yourself to the very limit, testing yourself against the very best, I'm afraid you have to go to City. Getting in the Manchester City team, learning from Guardiola, changing your game, being redefined as a footballer, as we've seen Pep Guardiola do. The way that you think of Declan Rice now...
No, come on, it's easy. You can have a season. He's going to have a season with the handbrake on, a bit like Jack Grealish when he went there. There's no pressure. He's going to go in. You're going to get minutes here and there, like Jack Grealish did with Sterling, and then... So he's going to actually have a season next season if he goes to Man City where he does very, very little because they've got Rodri, they've got Bernardo Silva and they've got De Bruyne. I want him to go to Arsenal where he has to go in straight away and deliver immediately. That's pressure because you're going to go in for ideally a Xhaka or a Partey and you have to get the ball rolling immediately. They spent 100 million on Jack Grealish City, didn't do anything first season. Did absolutely nothing. Honestly, playing with the slippers on. Declan Rice goes to Arsenal, he has to deliver immediately. That's pressure.
Yeah, I see your argument on that front, but I would say that it's slightly cowardly to not test yourself against the very best. If you have the opportunity to go and play for Pep Guardiola's winning machine, to go and secure yourself an opportunity to guarantee yourself silverware, I don't see how you can turn that down. I think you would rather play for Arsenal. If when you look back on your career, what Arsenal represent as an institution, I think Arsenal are a bigger club, and it would... The history is so important, and the history of Arsenal is so much more relevant. You know, the marble halls and Charlie George lying down on the pitch at Wembley having secured the cup, and everything that's gone more recently than that with Bergkamp and Henry. Of course, you want to follow in those traditions.
And he's a London boy.
And the London boy and the traditions of that will have huge ramifications on him. He will have grown up watching Arsenal be the very best. He would have watched Arsenal win doubles rather than watching Kit Simmons play for Man City. But I'm afraid that the time has changed, and Manchester City now are the option, and I'm afraid that you have to go to City if City allow you to go to them.
All right, then. Is this just, by the way, there's a poll right now on our YouTube channel. Obviously, we're streaming this live at the moment on YouTube. Where should Declan Rice choose, Arsenal or Man City? Very close. Nearly 1,000 of you have voted. 53% Arsenal, 47% Man City. That shows how close this is. All right, then. Is this just an Arsenal problem to Man City, or is this everyone to Man City? So basically what I'm asking is, if this is United or Liverpool that are coming in for Declan Rice instead of Arsenal, is it the same? Is it like, well, obviously Man City then? Or is it closer?
The only club that I would say you don't choose City for is Real Madrid. So, you know, when Jude Bellingham had the opportunity to sign for Real Madrid or Man City, I do understand why he chose Real Madrid. I think if Real Madrid are in for you, you have to say yes, particularly at the moment, because there's a new team being redefined. You know, Camavinga and Tchouaméni and possibly Harry Kane, and it feels very exciting, and the Bernabeu is being rebuilt. So being part of a new look Real Madrid in a new look stadium with a new look team, I think you have to take that opportunity. But I'm afraid I don't like saying what I'm saying, because I really do respect the traditions of football, and Manchester United as an institution are just totally incomparable to Manchester City. They aren't comparable as football clubs, but as football teams, I'm afraid Manchester City are so superior that you have to go to them. Same with Liverpool. Liverpool are a British institution. They are one of the greatest footballing.
I think it's weak.
No, you're wrong. It's not weak. It's brave.
No. I think it's a weak move. I think it's a weak move. You're going to a treble winners. Congratulations, all. I think it's a weak move.
It's a brave
I think go
move.
to a team that's challenging them and go for it, as opposed to just to go to the champions and play with all the best players in the world. Go and challenge yourself. Go to Arsenal with good players as well. I mean, Saka and Odegaard are no scrubs, right? Martinelli are good players, and see if you can catch them.
Getting in the Manchester City team, testing yourself against the very best within your team, breaking into the first team at Manchester City there is real jeopardy around that.
A year to do
Declan Rice goes to Arsenal now. Declan Rice goes to Arsenal now. Thomas Partey leaves. Declan Rice is immediately the best midfielder at Arsenal. Yeah, so there's no jeopardy on his place. He's always going to start.
There's pressure on. Arsenal don't spend that kind of money. There's pressure on to go and deliver.
There's no pressure on his starting place in the team. There's no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all.
So he starts every week.
He's got to deliver immediately.
He's got to
deliver.
deliver.
At Man City, let's be honest, he doesn't need to deliver because they've got so many other superstars that will.
You have to deliver, because if you don't deliver, you don't get in the team.
Yeah, as Jack Grealish didn't. And now look at Jack Grealish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the jeopardy is getting in the team. If Declan Rice goes to Manchester City, doesn't turn it on immediately, he's sitting on the bench watching Mateo Kovacic play. If he doesn't turn it on very quickly after that, he'll be launched out of the club. At Arsenal, he'll have a year.
I don't agree with that. Look at Julian Alvarez. He's loving life right now. Comes on every 5 games. And so that's what Declan Rice's job's going to be.
No.
Does he really want that? Or do you want to go somewhere and start?
Calvin Phillips would be more comparable, and Calvin Phillips is going to be bombed out, I believe. I know he's desperate to stay. I know that he's making all the right noises that he wants to play for Manchester City for the long haul, and I believe that he's even comparing himself to some of the other players that have taken a little bit longer to find their feet. But ultimately, Calvin Phillips will leave Manchester City, I believe, because he isn't good enough to play for them. That's the jeopardy. That's the risk. You can go there and fail very easily. Whereas you go to Arsenal, you immediately start. The risk and the brave thing to do.
I think the reward. We got loads of callers, by the way. We are going to take the phone calls. I promise you. Keep calling 03717 223344. I think the reward, and it's a big if, but I think the reward to go into Arsenal and winning something, FA Cup, Champions League, doing anything with Arsenal is bigger than winning anything with City. I think it's bigger than winning anything. I think if he were to win
the same trophy feels bigger at a different club, you mean?
Yeah. I think it would be bigger for him to win the league at Arsenal than any impact he can have winning the league at City.
That's true, but it's hypotheticals, isn't it? Because you probably don't win the league there, whereas at Manchester City, you might retain a treble.
Yeah.
Do you want to test yourself against the very best? Do you want to potentially win a cup? Or do you want to maybe win a quadruple? Or maybe go unbeaten? Or maybe retain the European Cup, which no English club has done in its current format?
Well, look, if you're Declan Rice, I mean, the options on the table aren't bad. They're not bad, are they?
No, they're good. They're
very. It's not bad.
He's got a lovely decision to make.
Dilemma, as Declan Rice. So I'm gonna end it by saying I think he should go Arsenal. You think he should go?
Well, if he goes to Arsenal, it's a cowardly decision. Therefore, he goes to City.
If he goes to Arsenal, it's a cowardly decision.
Of course it's cowardly.
How is it cowardly if you go to the harder... The harder challenge is in North London. It's harder.
No, because you're not testing yourself against the very best.
To go to Man City.
Harry Kane has taken the easy option. Harry Kane has taken the cowardly option by staying at Tottenham. The easiest thing for him to do is to stay at Tottenham. The hardest thing for him to do is to leave, uproot his family, go to Real Madrid and take on the mantle from Karim Benzema. That's the brave decision. The cowardly decision is to sit tight where you are.
And Declan Rice has got the hard decision of, I've got to play with Roger, De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva. No.
The brave thing to do is to go there because you've got to break into the team. It's not play with them. You've got to displace them. That's why it's brave.